Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sulk stream. I am that guy, the Sulk, whatever. The guy who returns after flying. I came home today. I arrived back at my house about 40 minutes ago, and I decided that I'm going to do a show. I knew I was going to do a show, but let's just say I decided. How was your weekend, everybody? Was it good? Fantastic? Well? Sustainable? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Mine was fine. Went up to Tennessee. Went to Nashville. Visit my folks. It is what it is. You gotta do it. Family. You know how it is. Anyways, tonight we're talking about gifted kids. Were you a gifted kid? As a child? As a youngling? Were you gifted? I was not. No one gave me false hope or anything like that. They're all like, John, you have limited options, and we're gonna lay those out right now for you. And I'm like, thank you so much. I'm gonna get to mopping. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be a pro mopper. I'm gonna be so good at it. I sucked at that too. It's not that I was stupid. I just didn't give a shit. I didn't care. But maybe you were. Maybe you were a gifted kid. Maybe you got all the praise and adulation that a gifted child would get during the time, and then you grew up to be a bitter, nasty little person, didn't you? I hope you did, you son of a bitch. I hope you did. I hope you did. I hope you're good at a mop, because I suck at mopping. I'm not good at it. I don't care. I leave dry spots everywhere. It's not my thing. Anyways, we're going to be talking about gifted kids. So that's the gist of it. And if you guys relate to this, if you guys were in any special programs that were run by the CIA, and they were, then please hit me in the chat, enlighten me. If you don't watch this live, leave a comment in the comment section. Please. Anyways, get comfy, get cozy, grab something, I don't know. One of those little milk boxes, grab one of those, sure. If you're working, keep working, and if you are driving, please drive home safely. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that jazz, all that stuff. Anyways, I'm the Incredible Sulk. This is the Sulk stream. This is called the Gifted Kid Syndrome. Enjoy.
The story of the gifted child rarely begins with pressure or burnout. It almost always begins quite the opposite, actually, with ease. Early on, something becomes clear to the adult.
How are my levels? Are they good? Are they good? I feel like when I turn off my computer, everything just wants to reset. So if they're good, let's just go ahead and do that. If they're good, let's just go ahead and do that. I don't know why things just can't stay.
Adults around them. This child learns faster. They grasp concepts intuitively.
Freeside says, my wife got into one of those gifted kids CIA front programs, but she said she was eventually weeded out. You're not really gifted. You're an idiot. Get out. Get out. I would like to watch. People get washed out of the gifted kid program. They're like, sorry, we thought you had a future, but apparently not. They just Charlie Brown. Oh, it's just fun for me to watch kids, like, dreams die. That's why I became a parent.
They only need to be given the dots and they figure out how to connect them. While other children struggle through repetition, confusion, and trial and error, the gifted child often understands things the first time they encounter them. And because school...
I understood that this shit was all gay and retarded. And so I didn't participate. But they didn't call me gifted for that. They just called me lazy and stupid. Which I was like, you're a public school teacher. Who's lazy and stupid here? I'm a child that's forced to be here. You chose to be here because no one else would want you. No one else would take you. They didn't like that either.
Rewards outcomes rather than the process.
I was not exactly popular. I was not a popular pupil to have.
This difference is immediately reinforced. The child gets good grades without...
No. I told you, you just got here. No, I was not a gifted child. Read the goddamn description. It says I was not a gifted kid. Right. It says right there in the
studying. They finish assignments faster than everyone else.
No!
Teachers praise them, not for persistence or discipline, but for their innate intelligence. Parents describe them as naturally smart. Peers notice the difference. Slowly.
Yeah, Renee says John's been retarded his whole life. My whole life, yeah. I mean, like, they didn't really notice until I got into school age, like 6, 7, 8, and they're like, this kid's just retarded. And I'm like, yeah, gay too. I was hitting vapes back then. I invented them.
Subtly.
Who's gay and retarded now? The inventor of vapes? Got you on that one.
Intelligence stops being something the child does and starts becoming something that they
Definitely
are.
not. The joke is because definitely the guy who invented vapes was gay and retarded. Definitely.
This sounds amazing in theory, but if the title of this video
Renee's?
is anything to go...
Renee's. I get to yell at any woman I choose, all right? Anyone. Jess isn't feeling well right now. I'll have her come in here and I'll yell at her.
By this ease, unfortunately, doesn't last forever.
I won't. She's not.
The gifted child becomes the former gifted child, a regular adult burdened with pressure and struggling with burnout.
You get it, Farrell.
Why does this happen?
I don't care.
If you're a gifted adult, what can you do about it? And if you have gifted kids around you, how can you protect?
Now, what do they mean by gifted? Like when you're a gifted kid, does that mean you can read and like do basic math like an adult can? Is that gifted? Because those things are pretty easy. I'm retarded and I read just fine. I mean, comprehending is a different issue for me, but reading, I could definitely read the word. I don't know what it means most of the time. I just feign, like I do understand. I feign comprehension.
Protect them from this.
I do my best.
This is the psychology of the former gifted child.
Okay, fine. I won't yell at Jess, even though she's supposed to be doing stuff. I don't hear dishes. Oh, by the way, ears. It's me.
From a cognitive perspective, the human brain is an efficient machine. Its primary function is not truth, growth, or self-actualization. It's energy conservation. The brain constantly seeks the least metabolically expensive way to reach an outcome. In other words, the shortest path between problem and solution.
Renee says, I don't know, my kid had to take an IQ test and get a specific score and do an evaluation of his general behavior. For what? For what? Just for what? To make sure he was gifted or not? Is that what it is? You don't get the gifted score? Whatever, dude. IQ tests on children mean nothing. They mean nothing. I mean, when you get to be an adult, then an IQ test could be like, yeah, that means something, right? Because you're graded against other adults, right? A 100 IQ is the average for European white people. But like, that's supposed to be the average IQ. And if you are above that, you have a higher IQ. Or if you're below that, you have like a lower IQ. You get the idea. But like, if you're a kid, that doesn't mean anything. Like, what do you tested amongst your peers? Like that, it doesn't mean anything. It can change. Maybe you're a little bit slower, but like when you get older, you're a lot smarter. It can change. Maybe it is a helpful metric, but I don't know. I don't trust those gifted kid programs. I think they're up to something. I know they're up to something. I know they're CIA fronts for some weird MK Ultra bullshit, and they make people like Hannah Montana and Bad Bunny in the future, or whoever the mayor of New York is, who just happens to have pictures with Epstein when he was a baby. You just happen to have that. You happen to have those? And you want us to think that's just a coincidence?
Solution. When a child repeatedly succeeds without effort, their brain learns a very
Critical thought says false, and then she rambles on about something. But when she says something I say is false, I ignore the rest of it.
simple rule. Effort is unnecessary.
Remember, thought, this is my show.
This creates an adaptation that tells the brain that if raw intellect alone produces rewards, then hard work is simply metabolic waste. Practice feels wasteful. Repetition feels insulting. Why grind when intuition is always faster? Why struggle when understanding comes to you automatically? Over time, the gifted child's brain becomes exceptionally good at bypassing difficulty altogether. It learns how to skip steps.
Freeside brings up a good point. He says also she is a woman. Yeah. If you agree with me, then I'll read the rest of your comment. Or if you donate, I'll read that comment. But if you just disagree with me, I'm not going to do it.
In psychology,
yes, I am biased. And I'm going to remain that way.
Skill acquisition
forever
depends on gradual exposure to challenge. Most children climb difficulty incrementally. They struggle early, fail often, and slowly build tolerance for confusion.
Rhea says John Fame has gotten to your head. Fame? Fame.
Frustration and sustained effort.
I'll take it. I'm famous, guys. Did you guys hear that? I'm famous. How about that?
How to learn.
Okay.
The gifted child, however, is often exempt from this process. They skip the tutorial. They jump ahead before the foundational habits ever really form. As a result, something critical never develops.
So Thought says my IQ was 132 as a kid and now is 126. Here's the thing. Anybody who states their IQ online is fucking retarded. Anybody who brings up their IQ on X or something like that is fucking retarded. Every single, I don't give a shit about a number. Okay, my IQ is 300. It doesn't matter where your IQ is. If you have a shitty take on something, if you have a shitty opinion, or if you come up with a stupid answer that nobody really agrees with, look, I understand that a lot of people on X are fucking midwits. Most of them, statistically average people, right? They're fucking idiots. But if you say something genuinely stupid, it doesn't matter what your IQ is. So why post it? It doesn't matter. And look, you can have a genuinely high IQ. You absolutely can. But that doesn't mean you don't say stupid shit. It happens to all of us. It happens to absolutely all of us. Yeah, you could have a great idea or a great take on something and be fucking retarded. Or you can have a stupid take on something and test off the charts. So don't put your IQ on the internet. That's what retards do.
Habituated effort. The gifted child does not build study rituals because they don't need them. They don't develop persistence because success arrives without resistance. They don't learn how...
Our chair says Knobs has the highest IQ of this whole group. Because he doesn't donate to me, probably. Feral Pigeon, what's up? 33. Okay, 33. Hey, Feral. Let's do it. 33. Are you doing your IQ? Are you doing the wheel or are you saying your IQ? Doesn't matter. 33. And Thought, I'll do 126 for you, okay? I'll spin. I'll give you the number of 126. Let's see if Thought wins. Was not 126. I didn't have to wait for it to stop spinning.
How to sit with not knowing, because confusion rarely lasts long enough to test their endurance. From the outside, this looks like exceptional ability. From the inside, it creates a fragile cognitive ecosystem.
Rhea says, I'm stupid and I accept it. Based. Honestly, based. Because we're all fucking idiots. Look, I know you guys sit there and call me retarded and stuff all day long. And that's fair. That's a fair evaluation. I've never said it's not fair. Not once have I been like, no-uh. We're all retards. We're all idiots. Let's just have fun with it. Let's just have a good time. We can all accept that we say some stupid bullshit all the time. And trust me, I am a culprit. You know, I am an offender in that regard for sure. But don't act like you guys aren't. You guys are there with me. We're all just rolling around in the mud. This low IQ, uninspired, like going nowhere, no future having mud. It's nice. I like it.
System that depends entirely on things remaining easy. And school does nothing to correct this. In fact, it accelerates it. Educational systems are designed in a way where gifted children are rarely challenged appropriately, and when they are bored,
Farrell says retards are supposed to be happy people. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, like, if you kill a retard's family, are they still happy about it? They're probably sad for a minute, and then they're like, ooh, I like mustard. And then they're pretty, they get a hot dog and they're thrilled. So, I don't know. It is a profound state of being a retard, being a true, like, deep in the pit retard. I wonder what it's like, but I don't want to know. I don't want to know. They don't have to be happy, though. They can just kind of exist.
Boredom is interpreted as proof of superiority rather than a signal of unmet developmental needs. Over time, the child internalizes a very dangerous lesson that struggle is abnormal. This lesson spreads from their academic life and becomes a part of their identity. Praise plays a central role here as well. When children
Kev the Mev says sometimes low IQ comes with physical attributes like dark skin and floppy tits. No.
are praised for effort,
no.
they learn that success is
I am sure that is not true. I'm sure. Look, I'm not a genius, but I'm sure that's not true.
They build. When they are praised for intelligence, they learn that success is something they must protect. You're so smart, someone saying that, feels encouraging, but psychologically...
Look, they just gas these kids up, right? Look, I knew tons of kids who were like on the honor roll and got to have pizza parties because their grades were, and their parents loved them because their grades were really good. And like, look at little Timmy, he's got straight A's. He's going to be in Harvard one day and shit. And like all the praise you could possibly get, being good at something that does not matter. Does not matter. I've seen those kids grow up and hit the bottle or start shooting heroin and all types of weird shit. Like, I think one's a chick now. Or the chicks have become dudes. By the way, I've never seen a male valedictorian. Not once in my life have I seen a male high school valedictorian. That should show you exactly how pointless this entire thing is. Wouldn't just the odds be that at least once there would be a male valedictorian? And I know what chicks are thinking. They're like, well, men are just stupid. But that is obviously not true. We created society around you, right? We cracked the physics and like discovered the properties of an atom and stuff. And designed dishwashers for you. Really? Really? Not once? No, because it's all bullshit. It's all completely bullshit. And if a male student does well in school, I assume he's either gay or kind of retarded himself. And not even gay, just retarded. Just retarded himself. I don't see it. I've seen a lot of people get good grades. They don't seem terribly intelligent to me. They seem like fucking idiots that do what they're told.
It creates a fixed reference.
Cogs in the machine. They would make decent cogs in the machine. Not good, decent. Enough to where they can do the job they're assigned, but not like, cause a lot of turbulence. Not like upset the system type of deal.
Intelligence becomes a trait that must be defended rather than a capacity.
Rhea says, didn't a woman invent the chocolate chip cookie? Yeah, well, that's probably because they're clumsy, right? She was making cookies, and then she like knocked over a thing of chocolate chips, and then she was just like, I'm just gonna roll with it."
It was on accident. She thought the chocolate chips would melt and they'd become chocolate cocoa cookies, but then they ended up just not melting and staying in the batter, and that's how chocolate chip cookies were born.
Fantastic. Way to add to society.
You're welcome.
Where would we be without chocolate chip cookies? I like chocolate chip cookies, but like, come on. We'd be fine without them.
That can be exercised.
We'd be fine.
The child begins to understand
Woman lore, yeah.
that being smart means not trying too hard. If something requires visible effort, it threatens that image of intelligence, so they try their best to shy away from effort, from struggle, from failure. Psychologically, this creates what many former gifted children later describe as paralysis. They want to do meaningful things, but only if success is guaranteed. Ego frames every challenge as a coin flip. If I try and fail, I lose my claim to my identity.
Right, so these kids grow up, they're constantly gassed up and constantly being glazed over and shit. Like, you're going to do great things. You're going to do great things until they get to the adult world where it's not school. I've seen this in my own family where it's like, well, somebody does well in school, right? And then they do really well in school. And then when the time comes for them to like spread their wings and go out into the adult world, it's scary. It's not where they're comfortable. Their schedule and their routine inside of the school. And so they just continue to go to school for as long as possible. And then they become like teachers, right? Because they don't want to go out into that scary world where you actually have to compete with people. You actually have to use your head. You actually have to like outsmart other people and not just get good grades. And so they become these people that like have this weird failure to launch, right? Because they're in a place, it's like big fish in a small pond kind of situation where they can't go off and actually achieve anything because, first of all, it's much more difficult than school. It's far more difficult than school. And also, they're just afraid to do it. Right? They're afraid to fail. And they will. They will absolutely fail.
I don't try. Well, at least the
That's the thing. That's what made me actually somewhat succeed at life. I failed a lot. I failed my ass off constantly. Since I could remember, I would always let people down and not be able to like follow through on the most basic tasks. And then time after time after time and again, I would fail at everything. And so you know what? I became really good at just trying shit and being like, well, if I fail, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, right? These people are afraid to fail. And failure is a huge part of life. It is the main part of life, is failing and failing and failing until you hit rock bottom. And some people can't do that. And so they never actually achieve what they should be able to achieve.
The ability of being exceptional remains
I
intact.
still do that. You're right. I constantly do that. Every day I fail at something and I'm like, well, back to the drawing board. And I'm okay with that.
A lot of gifted kids struggle
Back
with
to the drawing
fear of
board.
failure that prevents them from ever trying something they're not 100% sure would work, even though in the real world some sort of risk is almost always required for success. Instead, they stick to the safest option, which is, well, inaction.
True.
This avoidance pattern is often misinterpreted as arrogance or entitlement. In reality, it's a defense mechanism. The gifted child is protecting the only version of themselves that has ever been validated.
Which means they're a little fucking pussy. Which means you're afraid to fail, right? You're afraid to be knocked off that pedestal that your parents and your teachers and the administration have just so gingerly put you up on, right? They're like, oh, look at Jessica here. Oh, she's so good at stuff. She's gonna be, and then they stay there. They just stay there. But that pedestal is not reaching the sky. It's not looking over the fence at the grand fields of success. It's nothing. It's barely a stepping stool. I'm burping.
Trying and failing, it doesn't just hurt. It threatens the total of annihilation of their self-concept. And all of this remains totally invisible as long as the environment...
Arden Shara says, I think school pictures are likely being fed into AI algorithms associated with Palantir for facial recognition software. Yeah, well, that's Facebook as well. You are absolutely right, but so is literally everything else. So is this, right now. So is the entirety of the internet. And every picture ever to exist. But yeah.
Giving. But eventually, the child reaches a point where raw intellect is no longer enough. This moment is often described by former gifted adults as hitting the wall. It might happen in higher education, in a demanding career, or simply in adult life where complexity, ambiguity, and long-term effort are totally unavoidable. For the first time,
nice, Kev.
Understanding does not come instantly. For the first time, success requires sustained, uncomfortable.
Ria says, my family always reminded me of how much of a failure I was, so I never had any expectations. That's perfect. That's just like me. That's just like me. And you know what? I turned out to be the most stable child my family had. And it's unbelievable to everybody. It is unbelievable to everybody. I turned out to be the most stable. Absolutely unbelievable. Because I had no expectations for my life. I wasn't going to, follow the family business or like establish this sustainable lifestyle. I was just going to kind of wander around, get hammered in different places. And that's what I was expected to do. Maybe have a mop or something. But not having expectations is actually way better. Because you can kind of be your own person then. You don't have to live up to expectations. You can just choose whatever route you want to choose. It's freeing, right? You get to be the person you want to be. It doesn't matter if you're constantly called dumb your entire life. I'm still called dumb. To this day. By you fucking people. But do you think that matters to me? Do you think that matters? Do you think that really honestly hurts my feelings? Of course not. Because I have gotten so calloused in my heart. In the bottom of my heart. It's all cold and black. It's shriveled up. That I can just do whatever. And people will call me a fag. Right? People will call me retarded. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just some retarded fag. I can handle it. I can handle it. And then I get to do whatever I want. Because it doesn't matter. Be like me. Be a retarded fag like me.
Effort.
Oh, shit, I'm on YouTube. Oh, well.
And the problem isn't that the task is hard. The problem is that the gifted child never learned how to be bad at something and keep going.
Thanks. Kev says, you may be retarded, John, but you're our retard. Thank you. But you are our retard. Yep.
I never learned the art of...
I had to read that twice because I'm...
getting good. Where others experience a gradual learning curve, the gifted individual experiences a sudden collapse. There's no ramp up, no adjustment period, no tolerance for their own imperfections. The system goes from effortless success to a complete and total breakdown. And because they
Hey, John, how many of your family have cult following? Who is so? Yeah, there's no cult. I'm the only one with a cult. So, but it's like, yeah. They'd be like, well, I'm sure they would think of something. It'd be like, that's lame. Like, okay. It is. Don't get me wrong, but like, it doesn't matter. I'm not out trying to, show people up. I'm not out trying to like one up anybody, okay? I'm just doing this because I want to do this. I enjoy doing this and I have fun doing this. But I do have a cult. Which is cool.
Never built around effort. They have nothing to fall back on. What follows is often
You guys should put
interpreted
me in
as
your wills.
burnout, laziness, or wasted potential, but psychologically, it is something else entirely. It is the consequence of an efficiency-optimized mind that was never taught how to struggle. One of the saddest realities about becoming a gifted adult is remembering all of your niche interests that you can no longer pursue because you just don't have the time or the energy to fully explore them. Think about it. How many books are on your Kindle list waiting to be read? How many amazing newsletters have you just not had the time to dive into? Well, you no longer have to struggle with any of that, thanks to the sponsor of today's video.
Nope.
Likability does not live in the present. It lives in the future. Psychologically, this creates a subtle but powerful distortion. The gifted child is not evaluated.
Kev says, one day I might have a kid. That kid will be the most gay tard of all time. Remember to clip that kid's wings, right? If he wants to dream big dreams, just like nip that shit in the bud. Be like, you're nothing. I'm going to clip those wings right now. So you understand that life hates you. And even though I'm your father, I hate you too. Really knock him down. Really make him feel unsafe.
For who they are or what they've built.
I'm kidding. Don't do that.
They're evaluated for what they're supposed to become. Their value is deferred. Their worth exists.
I know. Kindle list. Ew. Gay. That's fucking gay. You have a Kindle. You read so many books you actually bought. You actually bought a device specific. First of all, you have a phone. But you bought a Kindle because you just read that much? Ugh. Ew, I hate you. Ew. Ugh.
In a hypothetical version of themselves that has not yet arrived. Think about it like building a mansion. Society.
Yeah, exactly. Kev says, I want to be an astronaut. LOL, no, son, you won't. No, you got to be, you can't laugh about it. If he runs up and is like, Daddy, I want to be an astronaut when I grow up, be like, well, you won't. I hear cleaning the dish. Well, you won't. You're stupid. You're cleaning. Now get out of here.
Sends the gifted child a blueprint for a mansion, and it's not a small one, but a grand one. Something impressive, complex, and rare. Meanwhile, their peers are given blueprints for modest shacks, the simple structures.
Hogdog says, Dad said he was higher than astronaut pussy. What mean? Well, this is called an oxymoron, right? Because astronauts don't have pussies. Now, I'm not saying there haven't been women in space, but those women they're purely for the sexual gratification of the real astronauts. So that's what he meant by that, I'm not sure.
Manageable projects. Ones that can be completed step by step over time with ordinary effort. The problem is not...
I'm surprised women watch this show. Is it my looks? I don't get it.
The problem is that building a mansion takes far longer, far more planning, and far more tolerance for unfinished work. As children, this difference doesn't matter. Everyone is still laying foundations. But adulthood changes the timeline. At some point, people begin to compare outcomes rather than plans, and this is where the gifted individual begins to suffer. They look around and see their peers living inside completed structures, careers, families, routines, and stability. Though they may not be glamorous, they are real.
Brandon, were you a gifted kid? Who was a gifted kid in this chat? And I know. But like any of you were like set aside or are put in one of those gifted programs in school? I obviously was not. I'm pretty sure I was held back a grade, but like let's get beyond that. Anybody here? And I understand. Okay, no, I'm going to just take that as a hard no. Knobstock says I was in honors in high school. Okay, well, that's not exactly what I'm talking about, but okay.
Meanwhile, the gifted adult looks at their own project and sees only an
You failed again, Knob. You failed me again. God, dude. Useless. You grew up to be a useless human being. You know that?
incomplete foundation,
Useless human
half-built
being.
walls,
And I understand that I sing songs to you and say you're my best friend, but that's under duress. I have to do that. I don't mean it. I don't mean it. I don't like you.
plans, endless revisions. They see a potential that has never been actualized.
Give me money.
And psychologically, this
Jesus.
feels like failure. Even if the gifted person has worked harder than others, even if they've explored more ideas, taken more risks, or thought more deeply, none of that matters if the structure is...
Kev says, my history teacher said I should do AP history. AP history. Advanced placement history. So what, you watch more of the History Channel? AP history should not be a thing. All right? If you like history, that's great. But like AP, like history is not, it's not something you have to be like smart about. You just have to memorize a bunch of shit. Yeah, that happened. Okay, great. You don't, it's dumb. He goes on to say, and I said, why do the Germans win World War II in gifted history? Oh, why? Okay. He said, why do the Germans win World War II in gifted history? No, then I don't want to learn it. Okay. No, you're probably not going to learn. No, you are told, and you'll learn more about World War II, but not from like the perspective. Just, you should drop that.
Isn't finished. Potential does not count as shelter. Intention does not count as
completion. Your point. I get it.
This creates a unique form of shame. Not the shame of being incapable, but the
Farrell, you don't speak for me.
Shame of not living up to what was promised.
You don't speak for me.
The gifted adult is haunted not
until 33 comes up on this wheel. Then yeah, you kind of do. But not before that.
By who they are, but by who they could have been. Every choice feels like a deviation from...
Knob says, why do you go out of your way to be mean to me, John, you dick? So Farrell gives me money.
Their larger-than-life potential. Every unfinished...
I ain't getting it out of you.
Project feels like evidence.
What do you think I'm doing here? Retard.
Of their ordinariness.
Jeez,
Every
God.
ordinary outcome
I hope your parents are disappointed in you and dead.
It's like a betrayal of the...
Farrell, do you have anything to say about that?
In this way, potential becomes a curse rather than a gift. Instead of motivating action, it creates paralysis. The standards are so high.
Or any other number you picked
so grand that any real-world step feels simply insufficient.
Dan Snot says 33. Okay, let's see. 33. Dan Snot, let's see if he can get it. Oh, nope. 22. Everyone wants that 33.
You build something small when
it's
you were
coveted.
Meant to build something extraordinary after all. Why settle for a shack when
Rhea says Jesus, John. What? Rhea. Why are you surprised?
Were promised a mansion. This dynamic is intensified by comparison. Gifted individuals are often acutely aware of trajectories.
You got me there, Knob.
They notice where others are in their lives. They measure themselves against their peers, not in terms of happiness or meaning.
Okay, Freeside. He says 33 too. They want your 33, Farrell. They want it. Oh, but it's tantalizingly, it's that highest coconut. You just can't get it.
Meaning, but in terms of progress towards some imagined ideal. And because their ideal is larger and more abstract, it is always further away. The result is a constant sense of being behind, even when objectively, they're not. Psychologically, this produces what can be described as temporal shame. Shame not about the present moment, but about time itself. Years feel wasted, decisions feel irreversible, the future feels like it's closing in rather than opening up. And because this shame is tied to identity and not behavior, it becomes very difficult to address.
Knob, you're here every night, dude. You're here every night. And I read your comments, and it's not like Daywave, right? I'll read your comments, just because I want to. But it's not like Daywave where like I read your comments and you owe me $5. I would like $5. I am with you. I am not going to get another dime out of you, probably, most likely, unless it's for something mean. I don't know what my point was for that, but here, Farrell says 33 again. Let's see. Oh, that was close. That was close.
You can fix a mistake. You can change a habit. But how? How do you escape a version of yourself
this close
that
to
exists
banning you?
only in your own imagination?
I'm this close.
Many former gifted children respond to this by disengaging entirely. Well, if that mansion can never be properly built, why try to build it at all? Others cling to potential as a form of psychological comfort. As long as the mansion remains hypothetical, it can't be judged. The dreams...
Because it's going to be a shitty mansion. Look, I'm not saying like all gifted kids are stupid, but some of them definitely are, right? But there are some gifted kids that are just smart. They're just smart kids. But like a lot of them are fucking stupid. They're just good at being told what to do. But not all of them, right? The same with the kids that are considered retarded or stuff. Some of them are legit stupid. And some of them aren't. They just have better shit to think about. They have better things going on, right? Just because they don't do what you tell them to do does not make them lesser than the rest of those little assholes. Right? I just fucking hate this. I fucking hate public schools. I hate the idea of gifted kids. Kids are fucking kids. Children are children. All right? They all have unique gifts in one way or another. I'll say that reading rainbow bullshit. It's not really true, but I'll say it. But let them be kids. Don't pit them against each other and form this weird hierarchy so early on in age, right? Because it's toxic. It's toxic. And then it puts all this weird pressure on a kid that a kid should not have. A kid shouldn't have all that pressure. A kid shouldn't feel terrified to go to school the next day because he's like the lowest man on the totem pole. It's a terrible thing to do. It is a terrible thing to do to a child. And it happens day after day, every day, ever since I was a kid, and I'm sure it's still going on today. There's teachers that fucking hate some of their kids. Hate them. And the kids don't want to be there. They don't want to be there. And what did those kids do? Just by the fact of being born, they are forced to be here at the risk of going to jail. And then you torture them for it. Fuck you. Fuck you, public education system, and fuck you, most teachers. Most. The vast majority.
Stays intact as long as it is never tested.
Hogdog comes up with a good point. He says, fuck them kids. That's a good point.
Against reality.
Good point.
This leads to a strange inversion. Actual achievement becomes threatening because it collapses the fantasy.
Rhea says, John, am I stupid? I already know the answer. What do you want me to say? What exactly do you want me to say? No, I don't think anybody in here is uniquely stupid. Like, no one's stand out stupid. All right, and if they were, I would probably ban them because those people annoy the fuck out of me. And they don't think they're stupid. I've never met a stupid person who thought he was stupid. Never, ever have I met a stupid person who thought he was stupid. They always think they're fucking geniuses. Always. But geniuses know to keep their mouths shut. That's why I talk on the internet. Because I'm not a genius.
into something finer.
Because I'm not a
To
genius.
complete something is to admit it is smaller than what
A genius will know to keep his mouth shut 99% of the time.
was imagined, and so the gifted adult oscillates between grand visions and complete inaction, trapped between ego and fear. At the same time, there's another layer to this psychology that often goes unnoticed. Giftedness is rarely evenly distributed across development.
Knobsdog says, my nephew is on a gifted track due to autism. He put together a 9,000 Lego Titanic by himself. He was reading it too. Yeah, that seems like autism, which is I don't know if you'd call that a gift. It's more of a curse, but it can be utilized sometimes. Sometimes it can be utilized if it's useful to some person, which it probably won't. It probably won't be. You know, let's just be super duper fair. When that kid gets old enough, like, most of society is going to be run by computers anyway, and he's not going to beat a computer. So he's just going to be autistic. And so people won't really want to hang out with him. So that's kind of sounds like a curse, but that's impressive. For now.
Intellectual ability frequently comes with
For
asynchronous
now.
growth. A child may be cognitively advanced, but emotionally underdeveloped. They may understand complex...
It's not a gift. Rhea says it's a gift. It's not a gift. Look, it's Knob's dog goddamn nephew. He's not gifted.
Concepts long before they can regulate their emotional feelings.
You think this branch of the gene, you know, this...
They may think abstractly while still
he's gonna be a weirdo in some guy's chat. Maybe it'll be me. Maybe it'll be my chat. And maybe it'll be like, oh, I used to insult your uncle. And he'll be like, yeah, I know. I'm making peanut butter sandwiches. I'll be like, you make those peanut butter sandwiches, buddy. You live that life. I'm so proud of you.
Responding to the world with the emotional sensitivity of a much younger child. This mismatch creates internal chaos. Because the child appears...
Knob says literally gifted program in school, you dingus. I understand. I understand that, Knob. I'm saying that doesn't mean shit. Because he's still going to get older and be autistic. Which won't be helpful. Right? If you're gifted, it means you will be an integral part of society, right? Or depressed. I think he's going to be depressed. I'm sorry. I'm not pleased about that. I'm not happy about that. But I think most people will be depressed. Like they are now. Which is why I have a fucking show called The Sulk Stream. Which we're all on right now. Do you have any self-awareness? Do you have any fucking... No, you don't. No, you don't.
Mature intellectually, their emotional needs are often overlooked.
You don't.
Adults assume capability in one domain implies capability in all others, but it doesn't.
I don't have water in my head. It's not mostly. It's some water. There's a little bit of water, yeah.
Emotional regulation, frustration.
He's got Down syndrome? Oh, he's not Downs. I know, but still, if he's autistic, it depends on how it... I don't know. I don't know your nephew. But, like, I'm sure if he's anything like you, I'm going to hate his ass. I'm going to hate it. And I don't care if he's disabled. I'll punch him in the nose.
Tolerance and social resilience develop through experience, not intelligence. And when those experiences are avoided or misunderstood, development stalls.
I'll be like, oh, wow, that's a nice Titanic, and then smash it. I'll just stomp on it, right? And he'll sit here and I'll be like, yeah, give myself a high five.
Many gifted children learn to intellectualize their emotions instead of feeling them. They develop what psychologists call cognitive empathy. They can analyze emotions, explain them, predict them, and even perform the correct response. But they do not fully inhabit the emotional experience itself. They become observers of their own feelings rather than participants.
Oh, did we lose thought? Are you guys talking about thought? Did we lose thought? Is it because I said only idiots? Okay, we might have lost thought. I think I may have hurt her feelings because I said only idiots post their IQ. I mean it though. I mean that. I meant that. No one gives a shit about your IQ. No one gives a shit about your IQ. Most people don't even believe it. I hope I didn't hurt her feelings though.
It's in them. This can
Knob, I hope I hurt your feelings.
and look like maturity, but internally it often leads to emotional isolation. Feelings are treated as problems to solve rather than experiences to live through. Compounding this is the reality that giftedness often...
Yes, and there was a bit of a pile on in the chat too, John. Well, that's not really my fault. I don't control you guys. I mean, I want to, but I don't. So that's... I meant that. I meant what I said. If you guys piled on, that's on you. But I meant that. I meant that.
involves heightened
I would contact her. I don't think I know how to, though, because she's pretty private.
sensitivity. Many gifted
So,
individuals
I'm sorry, Thought. I apologize. What do I apologize for? I'm sorry your feelings are hurt. If they are hurt, we're just guessing at this point. But I don't apologize for what I said because I meant that shit.
experience what psychologists describe as overexcitabilities, increased intensity across intellectual, emotional, sensory, psychomotor, or creative domains. This can manifest as deep curiosity, but also as anxiety, sensory overwhelm, existential dread, or emotional reactivity.
Apologize for being a dick? How's that a dick? We're still talking about thought, right? Well, Knob says that's not an apology. Apologize for being a dick. How was I being a dick? How was I being a dick? Literally, how was I being a dick? She posted that she had an IQ of 126 in the chat. And I said, no one gives an absolute hot fuck what your IQ is on the internet. No one gives a goddamn fuck on the internet what your IQ is. How is that being a dick? How is that being a dick? Look, I'm a dick a lot on this show. For sure. Right? But like, I don't see how that's being a dick. That is completely true. That is an accurate statement. Does anybody here go on Twitter and see somebody, oh, this guy says he's got a 187 IQ. He must really know what he's talking about. Have you ever done that? Have you ever done that? No, of course not. So what's the point of doing it? And only fucking retards do that. Only idiots, even if you do have that, even if you went like to a proctored test at Mensa and they said, look, you're a genius, blah, 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 give us money. Why would that matter? Why would that matter? It doesn't. What matters is what you say, right? And it's either stupid or it's genius, okay? It doesn't matter if you're fucking retarded or you're Einstein or whatever. Sometimes you say stupid things. Sometimes you say pretty smart things. So backing it up by saying I have this IQ is not an argument. So I stand by that. I really, if you got, Dan Snott says my IQ is 200. That's a fucking lie, Dan. You're a liar, bro.
At a young age. In standard educational environment, these traits are rarely accommodated. Boredom is punished. Sensitivity is misunderstood. Intensity is pathologized. As a result, I
remember one time Jess was all like, yeah, you're no genius. Completely unprompted. Completely unfucking prompted said that to me. She's like, yeah, you're no genius. And it wasn't even like a joke. Right? If it was like a joke, I'd be like, okay, haha. But it wasn't. It was completely sincere. She's like, you're not a genius. And I'm like, you fucking bitch. I mean, she's probably right. She's probably right. But just for my own wife to come out and say that, it was a little hurtful. It was quite hurtful, in fact. It doesn't matter if I'm a genius or not. You're supposed to think I'm a genius. Right? You're not the best cook in the world, but every time I sit down at dinner, I'm like, this is the best shit I've ever had. It is a mutual respect kind of thing. Do you get me? Do you understand?
Gifted children learn to suppress or mask parts of themselves in order to function normally. This is why some experts argue that gifted children are, in effect, special needs.
I just wish she wasn't so honest. I wish she was just not so honest all the time.
Students, not because they're deficient, but because they do not thrive in systems designed for average.
Intelligent people have less intelligent spouses that are useful to them. So you saying my wife is a genius? Or are you saying I'm a genius and then my wife is not a genius? Because that I could get behind. I could get behind that. For sure. But I'm just... Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Thought, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. Okay? And if you hear that, then that's true. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. But don't post your IQ on the internet.
Emotional profiles. Without proper support, their development becomes uneven and fragile. By adulthood, all of these factors converge. A fragile identity built on intelligence. A paralyzing burden of potential. Emotional development that lagged behind cognitive ability. And a deep, unspoken sense of shame about time, progress, and unrealized futures. By adulthood, many former gifted children begin to notice something unsettling.
We're all to get thought back. How? How do I get thought back? I have no idea where she goes. And I know I've met Thought in person. We've hung out and stuff like that. She's cool. I like Thought. I didn't mean to hurt her feelings, but I black out on this show. I black out. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know where this is all coming from. I hit stream and then I'm just a different person. No, I'm not a different person. I'm still a dick in real life.
Not necessarily physically isolated, but socially disconnected in a way that feels difficult to articulate. Conversations feel
Freeside says all this and she probably just went out to dinner or something. Where did Thought go? We have to solve the mystery of what happened to Thought. Did we all hurt her feelings by dogpiling on her for putting her IQ in the chat? Her alleged IQ in the chat. Or like, did she just like go take a dump or something? I don't know. This is a mystery. If she comes back, we'll find out. We'll ask her. We'll really corner her and be like, where'd you go that one night? Where were you? She won't answer. She won't answer. She might not. I don't know. Justice for Thought. Don't start a hashtag. Don't start hashtagging my chat.
There's a persistent sense of being...
It wasn't even me. It was you guys. It was you guys. J'accuse. It was not even me. All right? I said something completely reasonable. You guys must have dogpiled her and really hurt her feelings. It was not me. It had nothing to do with me. She was like, yeah, John, that's another coherent point out of John. And then you guys were all like, yeah, you dumb slut. I didn't say anything like that. That's you guys. That's a you guys problem. Jeez. Take it easy.
Out of sync with the people around them, as though everyone else is operating on a different frequency. And at first, this disconnection is confusing. And then it becomes painful. And eventually, for many, it becomes defended. Psychologically, when belonging is threatened, the mind looks for ways to restore stability. If connection feels unavailable...
Damn, Brandon. Damn, dude. Oof. Oof.
Meaning must be preserved somewhere else. For the former gifted child, that meaning often collapses back into the only identity that ever worked. intelligence. This is where defensive arrogance emerges.
Yeah, fucking Dom Suck's just like, damn, dude, what the fuck? Damn, bro.
Defensive arrogance is not the belief that one is better than others. It is the belief that others are incapable of understanding you. It is a way of reframing loneliness as superiority. If no one understands you, it must be because you are too deep, too complex, too intelligent for them. This narrative is comforting.
It's true. We all got issues. Arden, you're right. We all got issues. There's a problem with all of us. Let he who without sin cast the first stone. We're all retarded or gay in some fashion, or some mix of those two, or we have alcohol problems, or I don't know. You guys got a bunch of shit. I don't know. No one here is perfect. So let's remember that. Okay? So when thought does come back, I'm sure she'll come back. Let's just be cooler about it, okay? Let's be a little nicer. Because you guys are rough. I'm fine. I put my face on camera so you guys can say shit to me all day long. And I don't care. But a lot of people aren't like that. Okay? You guys call me gay and retarded. That's the only thing you guys can come up with. And it's fine. I put myself on the line for you guys. I do this for you guys.
Because it preserves
But not everyone here is like that.
self-worth and doesn't require them to be vulnerable with their own feelings and inadequacies. Rather than confronting the pain of not fitting in, the mind reframes.
Okay, Dan. Dan says I'm near perfect aside from my drinking. I'm near perfect as far as I can remember, but I do get blackout drunk every night. Okay. So there's 30% of your life that you're not even, okay.
Disconnection as distinction. When you ask, why can't I connect? It answers, because they can't keep up. Over time, this story becomes self-sealing. Any failed interaction reinforces the belief.
I'm amazing. I drink every day, get 3 hours of sleep a night, gamble, and cook with lots of butter. No issues here. Based, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the perfect. She's running an optimal efficiency, right? If you can do that and keep that going for 40 years, you will most likely die. But that's peak efficiency right there. Take notes, gentlemen. Take notes.
The tragedy is that
Take
this belief
notes.
system feels rational. Gifted individuals often do think differently. They may enjoy abstraction, nuance, or complexity in ways that maybe others don't. But the leap from different to above is where isolation hardens into identity. At that point, intelligence is no longer a bridge. It becomes a hard brick wall. This dynamic also explains why some gifted adults gravitate.
Rhea says women are built different. Yeah, they got boobies and holes and stuff like that. Holes everywhere. Why do you guys have so many holes? What's the deal with that? Why do you got so many holes? What's it like going swimming? Do you have to wring yourself out afterwards?
Towards social environments where they feel intellectually dominant. Surrounding oneself with people perceived as less intelligence offers a sense of
I was just asking why you got so many holes.
Exposure, no threat to the ego. There's no chance of being outpaced. This is sometimes described as the midwit problem. The gifted individual avoids peers who might challenge them, not consciously, but emotionally.
Okay.
They prefer environments where they can maintain their self-concept without any friction. But the cost of this safety is
holes. Is that good? Holes. You guys got a lot of holes, and I imagine they're not all watertight. I'm just saying, you got. Okay, I have. 7. I got 7 holes. Women have 10 at minimum. At minimum. A normal woman has like 10 holes. It's too many holes, man. How do you even...
Nation. Growth requires being challenged. Connection requires equality. And neither can exist when superiority is a non-negotiable. As a result, the gifted adult lives inside a closed psychological loop.
Dilator.
They feel disconnected. They explain the disconnection through superiority. They choose environments that reinforce that belief.
Wait, okay, Farrell says we have 7. You can't fuck my ears. Fuck, I can.
Environments limit growth and intimacy, which deepens the disconnection.
The fuck, I can't. Are you kidding me?
This loop is reinforced by another pattern. Intellectualization. Gifted individuals are exceptionally good at thinking about things.
This is about gifted kids. We're counting holes on women, which is more than 7. It's more than 7. And it could be even more than... Okay, let's see. You got a... Oh, I can't believe I'm doing this, but... All right, you got a beehole. You got a urethra. You got the pussy. You have a mouth. God... We know you got a mouth. You have ear, nostril. I feel like I'm missing some. Am I missing? It's still 8. No, I don't have a urethra.
This includes thinking about social situations, emotions, and even personal change.
9.
The problem is that thinking becomes a substitute for doing.
Eyes are not holes because they're filled with eyeballs. You see? You can't put it unless she's like missing an eye, which I'm into. Or she's got like a stoma. She's like, fuck me, baby. I'm like, okay. Could be fun. But that's not normal. That's not. I'm talking a standard issue rib from God Himself. You know.
The mind simulates experiences rather than engaging in them. Rather than going.
No, I don't. You don't know that about me, Nub.
To a party, the gifted adult
You don't know
imagines
that
it.
about me.
They predict the conversations, the boredom, the superficiality, and so they decide that it's not worth it and stay home. Rather than starting a project, they mentally map out the obstacles and decide that it's too risky and not worth the effort. Rather than trying something unfamiliar, they analyze it to the point of certainty that it will fail. And because
okay, fine, I won't. I was going to go long and like play Daisy on premium, but my wife is asking me not because her holes are regurgitating stuff. So, okay, fine. I will not do that tonight. But on another night, I will do that. Jess, if it makes you feel any better, I hurt thoughts, feelings.
the simulation feels detailed, it feels real.
Women like it when I hurt. Well, women like it when other women's feelings are hurt. Because, well, various reasons.
It feels logically sound and it feels
Go
correct.
take care of my wife. I will. What, do you guys want me to end the show early? Do you guys want me to end the show early? I was going to say $20 and I'll go take care of my wife, but that seems really scummy. It seems really scummy. All right. That's fine. I'll end the show early. She's not feeling well, so I will go take care of my wife. And Thought, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. If you're watching this, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. Come back. And I hope the rest of you guys do whatever you do. Just a bunch of... I don't know. What do you want to say? I'd hurt your feelings. But you guys know I'm not being honest. Yeah, and I'm not being honest. But I don't want to be nice to you either because that just feels weird. That feels weird, right? So I'm just... You put me in a weird position. Anyways, guys, thanks for coming. I have to go do husbandly stuff. I'm sure some of you understand. Yep. I'm sure some of you understand. Anyways, come back tomorrow. I will be here. Maybe I'll be playing some DayZ. Until then, I hope you guys have a great night. Goodbye. Oh, wait. I gotta do the song. Hold on. Hold on.
I'm an incredible soul, unhinged and enraged like a bulldog's fierce growl. I'm spitting fire, burning through these trees, questioning the world, unraveling conspiracies. Talking about Bigfoot, Black Ness Monster 2, government lies they're feeding me their goo. I'm diving deep into this rabbit hole, uncovering the truth, setting fire to their control. I got small nipples, but my voice is loud, blowing like thunder in this crazy crowd. They say I'm crazy, but I call it woke, unraveling the madness with every word I spoke.